What is up, and welcome to SGPN's The Daily Dog. I'm your host, Britton Hess. I'm here with my favorite Underdog Fantasy Pick'em plays for Monday, October 28th, 2024. If you're new to Underdog Fantasy, sign up with promo code DailyDog. That's DAILYDOG at UnderdogFantasy.com or on the Underdog Fantasy app to get a 50% deposit match bonus worth up to $1,000. Best deposit bonus you're going to find anywhere for Underdog. If you're new to the app, you better sign up with that one. If you put $100 on the app, you get 50 for free. Put 25, you get 1250 for free. If you put 1,000, get 500, $2,000, up to $1,000 deposit match bonus. Definitely worth it. And also, Underdog is going crazy right now with all these other boosts they've got going on. They got NFL crazy stuff happening, like 50% profit boost. They got 20% NBA boost going all last week. All October, it's been a good time to be on Underdog, so I highly recommend you get in on that if you're not on the action yet. All right. Speaking of action, we definitely have a lot to get into for this Monday. We had a ton to get into over the weekend. A couple near misses, that's for sure. The tough one was Kyler Murray not getting enough rushing yards in that game versus the Dolphins. Thought that was a spot where he would definitely take off a couple times and get it done, but that one kind of hurt because that was a big kind of get right spot after a couple near misses on Friday and Saturday. But it is what it is. We're back at the grindstone on Monday here in Monday Night Football. My Pittsburgh Steelers are facing off against the one and only New York Giants, the team that has the worst quarterback in the league right now. Now that Deshaun Watson is no longer a starter, I got to say the worst starter in the league is Daniel Jones. But, I don't know. Maybe there's a couple guys that could pass him. Gardner Minshew might be on that list as well. But that's neither here nor there. We're going to talk about a receiver first. We're going to go with George Pickens, higher than 4.5 receptions in this game. Pickens was being a little bit of a jerk early on in the season. He wasn't really he was kind of disengaged because Justin Fields wasn't really getting him the ball enough. I know it's annoying, a diva wide receiver. We've seen it a million times. But, man, when Pickens is actually in fed the ball, the dude is good. The dude can make plays, and he's the guy the Steelers need to make this offense go. Pickens had 9 targets last week in the first game with Russell Wilson at the helm. He caught 5 of those targets. And the week before, the final game of the Justin Fields era, he had 8 targets. So the Steelers' offense is definitely, they're ramping up their usage of him in the passing game. And obviously his chances at succeeding in those passing situations is much, much higher with Russell Wilson at the helm. No offense to Justin Fields. I think he did a great job, did what was asked of him to start off this season. But as far as actually running a modern NFL offense, that includes like downfield passing and, just intermediate passing and touch passing, and more than just kind of, 1 or 2 reads and take off, Russell Wilson gives the Steelers a much better chance. So on that note, let's talk a little bit about Russell Wilson. We have Pickens getting 5 receptions in here. We're taking higher than 4.5 receptions. I'm taking Russell Wilson higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns. Probably one of those is going to George Pickens. I think that Freiermuth is also a good catching candidate. Van Jefferson had his first touchdown of the season not too long ago. Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, guys are viable out of the backfield. Calvin Austin, big play threat wide receiver who can go, can basically score from anywhere on the field if he gets the ball in open space. I really like Wilson to score higher than 1.5 touchdown passes in this game. The Steelers were crushing the Jets most of the last game, and they just kept on running the offense and getting those reps in for Russell Wilson. Again, I don't think that they're going to let off the gas here. I mean, the Steelers team is still getting slept on. All the Steelers do is win more games than anyone else in their division, and they're like the second to last choice, I should say, to win this division for whatever reason. So go Steelers here. So George Pickens higher than 4.5 receptions, Russell Wilson higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns, and then the last leg of this 3-leg Monday Night Football slip is Malik Nabers higher than 65.5 receiving yards. I mean, the dude's a target monster, the dude's a reception monster, all that stuff is true. He's a red zone target, everything. I'm just most comfortable with 65.5 receiving yards. The Steelers' defense is one that can definitely give you some yards between the 20s. And they might clamp up on him a little bit closer to their goal line than they would through, the middle of the field. I mean, Joey Porter Jr., very good corner. He's a physical corner, but he's also kind of a high risk, high reward guy. If he's not really feeling it, there should be some big plays available for Malik Nabers. Again, I don't necessarily want to play Malik Nabers' receptions. I don't want to play his targets, all that stuff, because there's just so much game flow stuff that can impact that. I would play targets before receptions because, I think that they're going to be down in this game, so they're going to be throwing it a lot, and they will be definitely targeting him there. That said, this 3-leg slip, George Pickens receptions, Russell Wilson passing touchdowns, and Malik Nabers receiving yards 7.23x multiplier. Definitely a good spot to be in for Monday Night Football. But that's not the only major sporting event we got going on this fine Monday. Let's continue with Major League Baseball. Let's look at my guy, Teoscar Hernandez, higher than 6.5 fantasy points in this game. And I'll also say that I have Teoscar Hernandez. I have him 20-1 to win the World Series MVP. I was just kind of going down the list, and he seemed like a guy that definitely had the potential to win it. He's got obviously the home run power to kind of separate himself a little bit, and then he's also a the guy's batting in front of him, right? He's usually batting like fourth, fifth in the lineup. So he's got Shohei on, he's got Mookie on, he's got Freddie Freeman on. There's just a lot of options for him as far as having guys that he can drive in and get RBIs. So I did bet him 20-1, not the biggest bet, but just a little fun sweat for the World Series MVP. His odds now are down to 7-1. Obviously, Freddie Freeman, even money, is not actually that bad of a bet, if you ask me. The hot start Freddie Freeman's had has been pretty crazy. And then on the other side, Giancarlo Stanton to win the World Series MVP also wouldn't really surprise me. So a couple options there. I wouldn't play Teoscar at 7-1. Tommy Edmonds at 6-1 right now. I think that's a little bit much. I know he was hot in the NLCS, but things change. Time to move on. By the way, I took a tiny flyer on Gavin Lux before the series started, 250-1 to win the World Series MVP. Need some help there. I don't think he even took an at-bat in Game 2. He had a hit in Game 1, though, so that was good. But, let's go Teo and let's go Lux, I guess, in World Series MVP. And part of that is going to be this World Series slip. I'm sorry, bless me. Part of that is going to be this World Series slip against this World Series slip is going to Teoscar Hernandez higher than 6.5 fantasy points. A couple hits RBIs or hit RBI and a run, all that stuff. There's lots of paths for him to get over 6.5 here. If he hits a double and then gets a run RBI, hits a double, gets a walk. There's a lot of ways for him to get over this number. Obviously, a home run, does it all in one swing. But I really like Teo here. Take advantage of that short porch, that oppo power in Yankee Stadium against Clark Schmidt, who I don't think is obviously that good of a pitcher, to be honest. So Teoscar Hernandez higher than 6.5 fantasy points here. Then we're going to go to Kike Hernandez, Mr. October, the modern Mr. October, higher than 0.5 total bases. Kike is a guy that I don't think he couldn't buy a hit in July. He couldn't buy a hit in June. The dude started off so slow. He was like a huge liability in the Dodgers lineup. And then all of a sudden October comes around and he's like hitting homers, he's driving in runs, he's getting on base, hitting triples. It's actually insane. So I'm going to just ride the hot hand and go Kike Hernandez higher than 0.5 total bases. And to be honest, I wouldn't hate doing, my last leg is going to be Juan Soto higher than half of a walk because the dude just gets walked all the time, especially with Walker Buehler, who doesn't necessarily have the greatest command pitching this game. I think that definitely helps him out. But I was going to say, I don't hate Giancarlo Stanton to have a hit either. That guy is just kind of a machine in October as well. But I think the Soto leg is a little bit easier. So let's go Teo, higher than 6.5 fantasy points. Teoscar Hernandez, that is. Kike Hernandez, higher than 0.5 total bases. And Juan Soto, higher than 0.5 walks. 3.59x multiplier. Pretty conservative there. All right, we got an 82er special. If you're not sure what the 82ers are, these are the guys in the 82-game season sports, NBA and NHL. This one's weird. I was like really looking for an opportunity to play a lower with Klay Thompson because he's come out and had a guns blazing season, hitting 20, 22 points in both of his games he started so far. His number's just 17.5, and I was like, you know what? I can make a case for under that. The problem is in both the games he's played this year, he's shot 10 and 12 three-pointers respectively. If he's going to get double-digit three-point looks every single game, he's going to get 18, 20, 25 points a game. He's going to be in that range because you expect him to be, a 40% shooter just over time. And then, on a given night, he can hit 50% of his shots if he's shooting 10 of them. But let's just say he shoots 10 and hits 4, or shoots 11 and he hits 4. That's 12 points right there. And then he just needs 6, elsewhere, whether it's through the foul, whether it's through jumpers, whatever, layups, fast break, whatever. Klay Thompson, he's getting over this number right now. So I think he can keep that up. Next one, we're going to go Alperen Sengun, a big man for the Rockets, higher than 0.5 3-pointers made against the Spurs. Sengun, 3 games against the Spurs last year, had a 3-pointer in each one. He's had 2+ 3-point attempts in all 3 games this year, and he's had 1+ 3-pointer in 2 out of 3 games this year. He is going to want to show off to Wembanyama, hey, you're not the only big man, the only 7-footer that can shoot the 3. Sengun's going to shoot 3 3-point attempts in this game. He's going to make at least 1, if you ask me. Last one, Conor Bedard, higher than 0.5 points against the Avalanche. I know the Blackhawks kind of stink. I know that Conor Bedard, and he's got 9 points in 9 games this year, so he's doing fine. The Avalanche have started winning games after a slow start to the season, but their defense and their goaltending still leaves a lot to be desired. They've had 2 good defensive games this year. Besides that, they have allowed a lot of goals. I think Bedard is going to get on the stat sheet, so give me Conor Bedard higher than 0.5 points. This is a 7.33x multiplier to close out the slip. That's all I got for you today. Let's make some money.